It's a beautiful night for baseball. Not really, it's about 45 degrees and drizzly, but we are playing once again under the big top at Miller Park as Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Milwaukee Brewers in Game 3 of this 4-game series. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser, and Nomar Garciaparra. The Dodgers big boppers again last night. 3 more home runs. They now lead the major leagues, Nomar, with 42. They are facing a Brewers pitching staff who have given up a major league leading 37.
And they say they're not a home run hitting team, right? I mean, not only are they hitting the long ball, but they're getting timely home runs as well. And last night it started off with Justin Turner. This game was, they were down by 1 run, and he hits a 3-run bomb to put the Dodgers finally on the board, and it changed the momentum of the entire game. Jimmy Rollins added another 2-run home run, and then it was followed up by Adrian Gonzalez, where this home run really should have counted as 2 as far as it went. Their power has been on display this year, and we're going to see exactly how that ranks amongst the major leagues. Over half their runs this season have come by way of the long ball. But the thing that impresses me is that everyone is contributing with that power, and they don't think about hitting home runs on a daily basis. It's all about line drives.
Gonzalez's home run traveled merely 477 feet. Tonight, Joe Wheeland makes his Dodger debut. He is the 35th different Dodger to play so far this season and the 9th starter.
Yeah, 9th starter, but 5 of them in that 5-hole. We've got our Joe Wheeland going at it. But you take a look at all these different starters that have filled in for us. That phone has been ringing down in Oklahoma City for David Huff, Bolsinger, Baker, Frias, and now Wheeland. The team's record 3-2, and so they've done a nice solid job. They've averaged about 5 2/3 innings. But Joe Wheeland going tonight, this is a guy that was in the Grandal trade with Matt Kemp. He was come over. He spent a lot of time in the big leagues, but not a lot of experience. 3 years almost the big league time, but only 7 starts in the big leagues. So he needs to throw strikes like he's capable and keep that curveball going.
One of the reasons why the Dodgers at 17-9, they've hit more home runs than anybody else. And Adrian Gonzalez hit one last night longer than anybody else. Lineups and first pitch coming up next. Dodgers, of course, have been spoiled all year, averaging about 48,000 per game at Dodger Stadium. The Brewers, who are struggling so mightily at 8-19, also having trouble drawing fans. They've got the largest deficit of all the divisions in Major League Baseball. Milwaukee 12.5 off the pace. Today's closed captioning is brought to you by Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. Don Mattingly, on the other hand, has a 4-game lead on the Giants, 3.5 over San Diego. Padres beat the Giants today 9-1 at AT&T Park. Pederson and Rollins and Kendrick. Adrian Gonzalez fresh off his 9th home run of the year last night. Traveled 477 feet. Justin Turner is starting at third base. Turner is red hot. He's only starting in front of the National League Rookie of the Month, Guerrero, and Juan Uribe, who is merely riding a 13-game hitting streak. That's how hot Turner is. Ethier, Van Slyke, Ellis, and Wieland. And pitching for the Brewers, 25-year-old right-hander Willie Peralta.
Well, you look at Peralta's record 0-4, and it's a bit deceiving. He just hasn't got any run support. Over his last 2 starts, he threw 12 innings and only gave up 3 earned runs. He comes at you with a fastball that hovers over 95 miles an hour. He's got a tight slider when it's down in the zone, and he's got an occasional changeup. But be ready for that fastball, and that 2-seamer has a little run to it.
Dodger lineup brought to you by Honda. So here's Joc Pederson stepping in. Pederson with 7 home runs, 3rd in the league. He's 2nd in the league in walks with 21. 8th in the league with a .420 on base percentage. And he takes high and away, 1 ball, no strikes. Pederson 0 for 3 and 2 walks last night. Rollins and Kendrick to follow. The Dodgers have won 5 of their last 7, 8 of their last 11. A ball and a strike.
Joc's going to see some cheese. He loves to hit the fastball. This is a night when he's going to see the fastball, and he's going to see it a lot.
No shift for Pederson on this occasion as he swings and misses. It's 1-2.
Old-fashioned hardball. Rear back and fire it and get ready to catch up to it.
Last night they had the shift on for Pederson. Peralta 6'1", 245. Pederson has struck out for the 34th time this year. Defensively behind Peralta tonight. This is the infield that the Brewers envisioned at the beginning of the year, with Ramirez and Segura on the left side, Scooter Gennett and Adam Lind on the right. Davis, Gomez, and Braun in the outfield. Martin Maldonado still behind the plate, with Lucroy still on the disabled list. Jimmy Rollins coming up. Rollins perhaps busted out of his slump last night with a 2-run home run in the 7th. Then takes a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Interesting note about Jimmy Rollins. Only 5 players in Major League history have more extra base hits and stolen bases as a combination than Rollins. He's in company with Barry Bonds, Ricky Henderson, Paul Molitor, Ty Cobb, and Honus Wagner.
That's some pretty amazing company.
Extra base hits and stolen bases combination. 2 out, nobody on, and Howie Kendrick coming up. Kendrick at 286, 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in, and takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Howie got on base 3 times last night, 2 hits, a walk, and a couple of runs scored.
If you're going to face a fastball like this, Nomar, and you've been in a slump, do you like that?
I do, yes, because I know he's going to come at me with a fastball majority of the time. The key is just try to take a 2-strike approach right when you step into the box. You can shorten up a little bit and let his power supply your power.
Peralta's 6th start, still looking for his first win. He has gotten next to no run support at all. An average of less than 1 run of support in each of his first 5 starts.
And he has a reputation around the big leagues of having big time stuff.
What the other part of the reputation is that if you stay close to him, he'll spit the bit. And I'm not sure that's about his makeup as much as it has been about the Milwaukee offense, is that you have a chance to stay close to him because they don't get him any runs. Craig Counsell trying to turn that tide with the Milwaukee club.
Kendrick is down. Peralta retires the Dodgers in order and strikes out 2 of 3. Now Joe Whelan getting ready for his Dodger debut. Third game as the manager of the Brewers. A look at the Honda starting lineup he has crafted for tonight's game. Carlos Gomez, Scooter Gennett, and Ryan Braun, who's hitting .222. Adam Lynn, Aramis Ramirez, Chris Davis, Gene Segura batting 7th. Martin Maldonado hitting a .157 behind the plate. Willie Peralta pitching and batting 9th. And here comes Joe Whelan, who made 4 starts at Oklahoma City.
3-0 in those 4 starts, Charlie, with a 3.60 ERA, a strike thrower. Starts Gomez off with a strike there. Throws 4 pitches: the fastball, the curveball, the slider, and the change. Pretty much the slider and the change are kind of show-me pitches. The fastball, curveball, predominantly his 2 big pitches, and he will throw strikes. That's been his reputation.
Quickly ahead, 0-2.
With A.J. Ellis behind the mound and a strike thrower on the
to the right side and past a diving Howie Kendrick. Gomez is aboard with a single to right.
Can use the knowledge behind the plate if you can hit the glove, because AJ can guide you through. That ball right there, a little bit too much of the plate and too high for that count and that pitch.
Gomez has stolen 2 out of 3 this year. Whelan in spring training, 5 games, 1 start. Had a .193 ERA, 3 earned runs in 14 innings. Struck out 10, walked 3. Whelan came from the Padres along with Yasmani Grandal and the Matt Kemp trade. And here is Scooter Gennett, fresh off the disabled list. Gennett at .219. Quick toss to first base, and Gomez is back.
I think you got to be aware of Gomez over there. I know Gomez is coming off a hamstring injury. He was on the DL earlier this year, but getting on base right now. I think he's looking at that late kick by Whelan, trying to get his timing, see if he can go.
Ellis has thrown out 4 of 6. And Gennett fouls it off.
Experience is measured in time. Joe Whelan would have a lot of experience, but He has almost 3 years of big league time, but only 39 innings. Most of it's been spent on the disabled list. A Tommy John surgery in 2012 after he was up with the Padres, and that surgery had to be not redone, but they had to go back into his elbow even after the rehab and scope it again to clean it up, and so that put him on the DL for almost 2 years.
He's 25, and he misses high and outside. 3 balls and a strike. That fastball at 90, that's about as hard as he can throw. From Reno, Nevada, 6'2" and 205. Originally drafted by the Texas Rangers in 2008 in the 4th round. There goes Gomez. Fly ball well hit to right center. Hit his way back, and just like that, the Brewers take a 2-0 lead. Whelan's worst nightmare. 2 batters in, he's down 2.
Straight fastball right here. It's up and it's not firm enough. You're going to go that height, you're going to have to be 93 to 95 miles an hour. So when you're 90 miles an hour, it's got to be down by the knees, maybe with a little more movement.
Ryan Braun takes a breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-1. So Scooter Gennett, just off the disabled list, cracks his first home run of the year. Now he has 3 runs batted in on the season.
You can't make a mistake in that area, especially when you have the hitter and the hitter's ahead of you 3-1 and he's looking for that fastball.
2 balls and 1 strike. Ryan Braun, a career .311 hitter. At the moment, he's at .222. And Whelan falls behind 3-1. Adam Lind is on deck. This is not exactly how Joe Whelan had envisioned his evening.
AJ going out to the mound and saying, come on, we've got to get the breaking ball for a strike because we're going to need that to get back in the counts. And with our fastball, if you're going to keep it down, we're going to have to use a little bit more of the middle of the plate. And when you finally get ahead, we're going to have to make better pitches.
Brings up Adam Lind, who's having the best season of any Brewer hitter at .315, 4 home runs, 13 runs batted in. And he takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Lind 0 for 3 and a walk last night. Studying the signs from third base coach Ed Cedar. Braun certainly capable of stealing a base. The 0-1 grounded foul as Mike Guerrero, the first base coach of the Brewers, had to get out of the way. Lind came up with the Blue Jays in 2006. And if it looks a little smoky inside Miller Park, it is. Drilled to right, that could be trouble. Just foul.
That came close to hitting that foul pole right down the line. For a second, it looked like it did, but it hit the side awning there. Oh.
Well, to this point, Whelan hasn't fooled a very many.
Well, he's starting to get angry out there on the mound for sure, because he's creeped up to about 93 miles an hour on that last pitch. Started the game at 90. But he's going to have to get the breaking ball down, make it look like a knee-high fastball, and bounce it in the dirt.
Aramis Ramirez on deck. The 0-2 on the way. Did he go around? No. That's third base umpire Paul Emmel, who was calling balls and strikes last night. So the reason it looks so smoky inside Miller Park is because as they introduce the Brewers, they take the field, they shoot off fireworks inside, and the roof is closed, and the smoke has nowhere to go. Ethier at the wall. Ethier can't get it. It is 4-0 Milwaukee. A hit, a home run, a walk, a home run.
Well, we talked about he's got to get his breaking ball down to make it look like a low fastball, end up in the dirt. Remember, after a high fastball, look where this breaking ball starts, and then it ends up right there, inner half, sitting almost on a tee. He didn't get all of it, but a hanging breaking ball hit with some backspin, you don't have to get all of it.
Well, Rick Honeycutt is going to try and settle Whelan down. Meanwhile, the Brewers are sitting pretty.
It's settling him down, but also giving him something to focus his sights and get him lower. Right now, he's aiming for the glove that's the target slightly above the knee, right at the knee, and he's missing 6 to 8 inches up. The target should now go down by the shin. If he's going to slightly miss up, at least he'll be knee high.
The Brewers this year are averaging about 3 1/3 runs per game. They've got 4 runs and 3 hits, and nobody out here in the bottom of the first. Ramirez heating up after a slow start. Takes a strike.
The last pitch before that was the one you were talking about, or he almost needed to stay down there and kind of work from the down up rather than it looked like he's been working high and trying to get it down.
That's a loud foul ball.
His breaking ball, everything that's been getting hit. The fastball that Jeanette hit for a home run was up in the zone. The breaking ball that Lind hit for a home run was up, and that one right there, was lucky that one stayed in the ballpark because that was up as well.
Chris Davis on deck. The 23rd pitch from Whelan. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Every level of baseball that you play, from rookie league to A ball to AA to AAA and then the big leagues, what is considered up and what is considered down, the definition changes, and it's because of the ability of the players.
That's drilled to left. Van Slyke is there, and that's the first out.
What you have to do at the big league level, even when you get an out, you have to analyze your execution. And right there, Joe Whelan's still got to be saying to himself, I got to get the ball down. I got to make better, higher quality pitches. Even though you got that out, that's still not a good pitch.
Chris Davis, 1 home run, 5 runs batted in, takes low and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. The Brewers came into the game with the lowest team batting average in the National League. They ranked 13th in runs scored, 15th in base hits. So Craig Counsell and his club have nowhere to go but up. Matt Garza pitched last night. And now Whelan falls behind 3-0. Scooter Gennett, a 2-run home run here in the first. And Adam Lind, a 2-run shot. And a 4-pitch walk.
We had a graphic in the open about all the different kind of reserve starters that have pitched for the Dodgers. Joe Whelan being the 5th in the 5th hole. And they've averaged about 5 2/3 innings. And right now, the goal for A.J. Ellis is to try and get Joe to that 5th inning so we don't eat up the bullpen.
The way things are going, just to get out of the 1st.
Yeah.
Segura, he might be able to do it. Rollins, Kendrick, low, and Gonzalez can't dig it out.
Again, he gets an out, but he's got to evaluate himself again. Jimmy Rollins gets it over to Howie, and Howie just makes the turn, just short arms it a little bit, doesn't get it quite there in the air. Adrian can't pick him up.
Brings up Martin Maldonado, hitting 157. Runner goes, throw to second base, and safe at second base. Segura has stolen 6 out of 7.
Well, they're taking advantage of everything off Joe Whelan. Obviously, the pitches when he's missing his spots, and then now late kick, recognizing that one was just stolen off the pitcher. That was not stolen off the catcher, A.J. Ellis.
They've had some guys on first base. They've had the watches on them. Gomez didn't want to go because of the hamstring issue you talked about, Nomar, but once they got somebody on fleet of foot with healthy legs, they went right to it.
0-1 to Maldonado. 0-2. With Jonathan Lucroy still on the shelf with a broken toe. All-star catcher replaced by Maldonado, who loops one into right field for a base hit. Segura rounding third, and he will score. Martin Maldonado's 4th run batted into the year, and it is now a 5-0 Milwaukee lead. We're still not done with the 1st.
2-strike count, Nomar, and the ball's ended up near the middle.
You see AJ looking for that ball away, and that wasn't away at all. That was just right down the middle. Maldonado does a good job staying inside and driving the other way. And the Dodgers unable to turn that double play on the ball before now, gives them a run, gives them an extra run right there.
Willie Peralta, hitless in 8 at-bats. Slicing foul and out of play. So Peralta's been staked to a 5-run lead, and he couldn't be more giddy, having had an average of less than 1 run of support in each of his first 5 starts. So he's playing with house money early. Breaking ball missing.
After the Dodger game last night, they improved to 15-0 and scoring 4 runs or more. They're going to need more than 4 tonight.
One ball and 1 strike. That's such a great stat, 15-0 when scoring 4 or more. You know how many times the Dodgers have scored 4 runs this year? None. Winning or losing. Well, the numbers game. Dodgers down 5-0 in the 1st, and Whelan has a full count against Peralta, who is still looking for his first hit of the season. There goes Maldonado. Here comes the pitch, and that mercifully ends the inning. But the Brewers come up with 5 runs, 4 hits, and a couple of 2-run home runs by Jeanette and Lind. Dodgers have a lot of work to do, and so does Joe Whelan. second. It'll be Adrian Gonzalez, Justin Turner, and Andre Ethier. Gonzalez cracked his 9th home run of the year last night. He is tied for the National League lead. What a shot. 477 feet later. Gonzalez is tied with Todd Frazier of the Reds for the National League lead in home runs, and Gonzalez has knocked in 22 to go with 10 doubles. He's second in the league in runs scored, and his .361 average ranks him third in the league. So the Dodgers have a lot of work to do. This is the 3rd time that the Brewers have scored 5 runs in the first inning this year. As we begin the second, Gonzalez takes a strike. Adrian is also 4th in the league with 35 base hits. To the left and slicing out of play. A lot of teams play the shift for Adrian Gonzalez, not the Brewers.
Well, they're looking at the spray chart and they're looking at where he's hitting the ball. You look at his 12 hits to center field and most of his hits to right field. They're probably in the back of their mind, remember that home run last night to center field. I mean, Gonzo, you know, he'll adjust his swing according to the way they're going to pitch him.
This is about as straight away a defense that we've seen against Gonzalez all year by anybody.
I think a lot of the non-shift against Joc and the non-shift against Adrian is the fact that Peralta's throwing so hard. He's 95, 96, and it's 63, 65% of the time he's going to throw it that hard. He doesn't really default to his off-speed pitches very much.
Into center field. That's going to be a base hit. So Adrian Gonzalez, who loves coming to Miller Park, as well he should.
When he gets that fastball, we talked about it, you know you're going to get something hard from Peralta. And after he fouled one off, this is what's great about Adrian Gonzalez. He recognized it. He swung, he fouled it off. The pitch that he's going to tell you, oh, I should have squared that one up. But knowing he's going to get another one, he's making the slight adjustment, doesn't foul this one, and drives it to center field.
Gonzalez in his career at Miller Park, .404 and a .496 on base percentage. And Justin Turner, who hit a home run last night, his 4th of the year, has 10 runs batted in. So he is starting tonight. Turner is in front of Juan Uribe, who's got a 13-game hitting streak, and Alexander Guerrero, who's just the National League Rookie Player of the Month.
Well, in Don Mattingly's scrum, he mentioned that Jimmy Rollins will get tomorrow off, so Turner could be at short tomorrow. The Juan Uribe playing third. He said that Juan would be back in there tomorrow. There's always a little juggling with the lineup, day game after night game, and especially when you've got so many hot hands in your reserve core and in your starting lineup.
And the Dodgers have employed 35 different players. And here we are, just the 27th game of the season.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Guerrero in left field tomorrow. Uribe at third, maybe Turner at short.
We also had Kike Hernandez over there on the bench as well. I mean, we've seen him have a start at shortstop as well, so they have some options.
Joc might even get a day, have a different center fielder.
And Justin Turner continues his hot hitting. Gonzalez will hold at second. When you're down 5, you go station to station and take small bites.
Exactly. And once again, another fastball coming in on the hands. You had asked me earlier, Oral, you know, do you want to see a guy who's throwing this hard or throwing fastballs if you happen to be struggling in a slump? Yeah, because you can take a swing, you know, if you foul it off, and you may be upset with yourself, but knowing, hey, I might have it get another one. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get another one over the course of this at bat. and I try to make that adjustment and hopefully square that up.
Well, you especially like to see a guy like this with down 5 too, and you know you're probably going to get fastballs.
Ethier in his 1300th game with the Dodgers is in the top 10 in Los Angeles Dodger history in runs scored, hits, doubles, home runs, and RBIs. And point of service of all the active Dodgers, he is the senior citizen. Scott Van Slyke on deck. The Dodgers have a bit of a rally going, and Ethier fouls it off the end of the bat.
This is, to try to get at least 1 run out of this inning, I think is huge. Not just because of the small bites you talked about, Charlie, but also just to put, you're playing a team that's been struggling in the Milwaukee Brewers. You have a pitcher on the mound who hasn't got run support, finally gets it. It just gives them a little doubt in their head, and you're trying to take a little bit of that momentum back if you can put a run up right now.
And it's a Dodger team that can hit against a Brewer team with a 4.5 ERA that ranks at 14th in the league. So Joe Whelan trying to regroup after a nightmarish first inning. Whelan threw 38 pitches in the first, 22 for strikes. And Ethier whacks it foul.
Well, what Joe Whelan's got to get out of his head is the first inning, and also then the fact that he probably thinks in the back of his head that there's been such a revolving door down to Oklahoma City that this is his only shot right now, and he's going to be leaving after the game. So he's got to block that out, put his game face back on, and go out and give the Dodgers, maybe 4 innings after this.
Call, strike 3. Ethier best not argue with home plate umpire Jordan Baker. Baker, the home plate umpire, is merely 6 feet 7 inches and 240 pounds.
So the argument wouldn't be bad. It'd be anything after that.
Sir.
See if this ball tails back. It just barely made it on pitch tracks. Nicking the strike zone. You can see why Andre says no way.
That's a ball.
Of course it is.
Now Van Slyke, who fouls it back, and it's 0-1. Catcher Martin Maldonado filling in for Lucroy. Oh.
Looks like he got his hand and his shoulder.
Somebody at home might be thinking, why isn't the catcher putting his hand behind his back like so many? Well, there's men on base. Men on base, you got to keep it up there, and a lot of people put it behind the glove.
Johnny Bench was the first one to do that. Behind the glove. On one hop to short. Segura, Jeanette to Lynn. So the Dodgers' hopes of a rally are squelched. No runs, 2 hits, 1 man left. 5-0 Brewers as we go to the bottom of the second. Bottom half of the second inning against Joe Wheeland, who was beaten from stem to stern in the first, as he gave up 5 runs and 4 hits through 38 pitches, 22 for strikes, and gave up 2 home runs. So it'll be the top of the order for the Brewers, who batted around in the first. Carlos Gomez began it all with a single to right. Turner at third. 1 pitch, 1 out in the second. So Joe Wheeland, part of the carousel of 5th starters for the Dodgers, and now moving ahead to Colorado. There's going to be some more mixing and matching. Throw the weather into the mix too, Alana, and Don Mattingly and Rick Honeycutt have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, Carlos Frias will be going here in Milwaukee for the Dodgers tomorrow, guys, but then it gets a little bit dicey, as you mentioned, Charlie, with the weather. It's supposed to be Brett Anderson on Friday, followed by Clayton Kershaw on Saturday, and then Zach Greinke on Sunday. But right now, the Rockies and the Diamondbacks are in the second game of a doubleheader because of all of the rain that they've had in Denver. In fact, they're still trying to figure out a date to make up the game that did not happen on Monday. There is supposed to be rain in the forecast. Looks like that one's going to stay in the ballpark. Supposed to be rain in the forecast the entire weekend in Denver, so hopefully we will be able to get these games in, guys, but it's certainly not promising.
No, there's about an 80 to 90% chance of rain Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I think on Sunday the high temperature is going to be 47. Terrific.
Really terrific. The only good thing about that weather is if the Dodgers use a lot of relievers today and tomorrow, weather could give the bullpen some rest.
Now Ryan Braun, who walked in his first at bat. So Denver has had a waterlogged week, and it's not going to get any better.
Or I'm sure you get asked a lot, do you miss playing? And then when you hear about conditions like that, it's easy to really say, what? No.
My response is I miss playing well. I don't miss getting bombed like Joe did in the first inning.
2-1 to Ryan Braun. It's easy for us to say up here, Wheeland can only put the first inning in the rearview mirror. Easier said than done. A 1-2-3 inning for Wheeland after the disastrous first. Maybe breathe a little confidence back into his system. Ellis, Wheeland, and Pederson to bat for the Dodgers when we come back for the third. Is brought to you by Nissan. Get to Nissan's ride of your life for exciting performance and surprising offers. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. A.J. Ellis to lead it off for the Dodgers as we go to the top half of the third inning. We are in Milwaukee, and A.J. lives not too far from the great city, and so he has been sleeping in his own bed for the past couple of nights. Takes a strike and 0-1. Wheeling to bat for himself, and then Joc Pederson. The hard-throwing Willie Peralta deals, and Ellis fouls it to the right. 0-2. A.J. now 34 years of age. Chopped through the middle. Look at Segura. And Ellis barely beats it. Great play by Segura just to get there.
Segura showing off incredible range, getting this ball, and the athleticism as your body's going into right field and still being able to get a throw off. And that one is really close. I don't know if there's enough there. You know they're checking it. You know they're probably going, all right, just hold off as we get our guys to look at it to see if they want to challenge it or not.
So now here's Wheelan. What kind of a hitter is he? We have no idea. Takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Well, we have some idea. Takes it back, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Pederson on deck. The Dodgers down by 5. Peralta misses outside, and it's 2-1. Lind let it go foul.
Yeah, I'm surprised he fielded that, because that ball looked like it was on its way to go foul, especially with the pitcher up.
Yeah, I would like my first baseman to back up and let him continue to roll, and then if the pitcher runner starts to creep up on him, then pick it up and tag him, but give it some more time.
So the sacrifice works. And Pederson, who struck out on a fastball in his first at bat, has Ellis at second base with 1 out in the third. Joc at 256, 7 home runs and 16 runs batted in. And he pops it foul. There's Lind, and there's the second out. Now here's Jimmy Rollins coming up. Rollins bounced to short in his first at bat.
You know, you're glad to have a guy on the mound that throws predominantly fastballs, and he's even going to throw more with a 5-run lead. This outing for Peralta can go one way or the other. He can go through our lineup like a hot knife through butter, because we're going to be swinging early looking for fastballs, and it could get us out. Or all of a sudden we're going to start putting some good swings on it, barreling it up, and we're going to get back in the game. He doesn't look like he's going to walk anybody. He's just going to attack right now with that big lead.
Of the 36 pitches Peralta has thrown, 26 have been for strikes. He has fanned 3. Rollins takes a strike. Home plate umpire Jordan Baker is 1 foot taller than Jimmy Rollins, as Ellis leads from second. You don't see that often.
Well, if the Brewers had a smaller catcher, it would look like he's umpiring a Little League game. He should get down on a knee and give a good low target to Jimmy's knees, and it's gonna look like Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Jordan Baker, big man on campus. 0-2 to Rollins. Blowing outside. 1-2. Rollins got out of Philadelphia in the nick of time. Chase Utley is struggling badly. It's Ryan Howard last check was hitting 195. Kendrick on deck. Ellis is at second.
I did talk to Jimmy Rollins. I had a sit down with him and interviewed him, and I was asking him, "You've been there for a long time. Why now?" And he goes, "It was time."
Yeah. Here's the 1-2. Grounded to the right side. Lynn with a nice play. Peralta covering, and that ends the inning. That's what happens when you're in a slump. No runs, one hit, one left. 5-0 Brewers as we go to the bottom of the third. The Dodgers celebrate their 1965 World Championship by hosting an old-timers game with former Dodger greats. Be one of the first 40,000 fans in attendance and receive a 1965 World Series replica ring presented by Security Benefit. Visit Dodgers.com/oldtimers. There's a legend.
Where's that gentleman? I've got to go find him.
Oh, you brought it. You always bring him one with you when you hand it to a fan.
Yeah. And I tell our cameraman where he's sitting.
And it was nice of you to bring Jeff Kent's jersey along, too. Lind, a home run in his first at-bat, grounds to Gonzalez in his second. One out here in the third, and Ramirez coming up.
Well, Joe Whelan starting the formula for a comeback. Settling in on the mound, put a 0 up in the second inning. Good start here in the third inning. Try to get that first inning as a distant memory for you and your offense.
Now here's Ramirez. This is a guy whose career has largely flown under the radar. In Major League history, he ranks third in home runs for all third basemen. Rollins will throw him out. Mike Schmidt hit 490, Chipper Jones 389, Adrian Beltre 376, and that man Ramirez 368 home runs. Ron Cey hit 296, Tim Wallach 249.
What about George Brett?
George Brett didn't have as many home runs, but he had more hits. But George Brett actually didn't have as many hits as a third baseman. He also played first base and DH. So including all third basemen, Boggs had the most hits, Beltre second, Chipper Jones third, and then Ramirez. Chris Davis, no balls and 2 strikes. Davis down on strikes. Whelan's second strikeout. And he has retired now 7 straight. But the Brewers lead 5-0 as we head to the 4th. For the 4th, Brewers did all their damage in the first inning. Whelan 38 pitches, 22 for strikes, 2 home runs, 5 runs, 4 hits. Since then he has retired 7 straight. The Dodgers no runs and 3 hits. Kendrick struck out swinging in his first at bat against the hard throwing right-hander Willie Peralta, who begins high and away. 1 ball, no strikes to Kendrick. Howie at 283. Takes a strike and it's 1-1. Howie last night had a couple of hits and a walk. A ground ball that kicks off Peralta. Segura throws him out like a pinball machine.
That's definitely frustrating as a hitter. You do everything right, you get that fastball, you take it right back up the middle, and it hits off the pitcher and kicks right to the shortstop, who makes a fine play to get you out. That's nothing you can do about that. That's one you have to go back in the dugout and tell yourself, okay, stay right there. That was a good at bat. Just didn't work out for me.
Adrian Gonzalez single to center in his first at bat, lifting his average to 367. There is nobody who enjoys hitting at Miller Park more than Adrian Gonzalez. Career .404, on base percentage near 500. Those are the highest numbers of anybody that's had at least 75 at bats here. Oh, and that 477-foot home run last night. 2 balls and a strike.
That's about the only thing this year he's got shortchanged on.
The measurement?
Yeah. Been putting up some unbelievable numbers.
Tied with Todd Frazier with 9 home runs. Big swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He was like asking him, that pitch high? And he knew it was.
Yes. A little tongue in cheek in that one.
2-2 with 1 out. Into right. When you're hot, you're hot. Justin Turner coming up, one of the 3-headed monsters who's playing over at third base, Alana.
Well, after that 3-run blast last night, Justin Turner getting back-to-back starts at third base. Don Mattingly already said Juan Uribe will be at third tomorrow during the day game. And guys, it really doesn't make any difference who Don Mattingly puts over there at third. If you take a look at the production, just basically at the position of the hot corner, look at what these guys have been able to do. A .359 average, 7 long balls, 20 RBIs, and a .631 slugging percentage. So it's a good problem to have to be so deep at third base.
Uribe, a 13-game hitting streak, and Alex Guerrero is the National League Rookie of the Month in April. And it is Turner getting the start tonight. Single to left in his first at-bat, lifting his average to .348. Talk about a log jam at third base.
So for the All-Star ballot, can you write all 3 of them in as one? So I'm just wondering.
Ball for a strike. At 95, and it's 1-1.
That's a good take right there. That was a pitcher's pitch and a hitter's count. Justin didn't bite. That had a double play written all over it.
Hit .340 last year. At the moment, he's at .348. A chopper to second. And it's dropped. He'll be out at second base on the transfer. If the Dodgers catch a break, it would have been an inning-ending double play otherwise.
Peralta came back and executed the same pitch right there, low and away, but now not a hitter's count. JT protecting a little bit, turned it into what should have been a routine double play ball, but the exchange here just couldn't get it out of his glove cleanly.
Like a slippery bar of soap. Now here's Ethier, playing in his 1300th game with the Dodgers. This is going to be a very tough play. And that's going to get past Lind. Now Turner is rounding third, and he will score. Dodgers catch a break, an error, and they get a run.
The key to that run right there was Justin Turner not hesitating and running all the way when he was going to second. He recognizes that nobody was at third as Segura and Ramirez field this ball. And he just kept hustling and hustling. Watch Ramirez and Segura go after this ball. And Justin Turner, as he notices how they're both going after, did not hesitate rounding second. So that allowed him to score easily as that ball gets by the first baseman. Lorenzo Bundy recognized Justin Turner as he rounded second base, how quickly he was getting over there, and was just without the hesitation and running hard.
Hitting an error.
Lorenzo did a nice job creeping down the third baseline so he could continue to give the sign and Justin encouragement to go. Sometimes you can bring him around the bag and still hold him up.
Van Slyke takes a strike. So the inability by the Brewers to turn the inning-ending double play allows the Dodgers another batter, and it helps score a run. It's 5-1. Van Slyke bounced into a double play in his first at-bat, although he hit it solidly, but right at Segura. On a slow roller, Nomar, you got the third baseman converging with the shortstop. Segura's got an eye on the ball, an eye on the third baseman, and a throw that went wild.
I mean, you have two guys over there who have good arms over there. I mean, obviously Ramirez being a veteran third baseman, covers a lot of ground, and that's just one of those ground balls that's just in between. You know, one of the two are going to have to barehand it and make a tough play there. And just Justin Turner recognized that and took advantage of it.
And a difficult play for Lind at first. The Dodgers are on the board now. It's 5-1. Van Slyke hitting 3 1/4 with 1 home run and 9 runs batted in. Outfield straight away. Van Slyke takes a call, strike 3, flips his bat. And Jordan Baker is not the least bit thrilled with that, and neither is Scott Van Slyke, and this has a chance to get ugly. One run, 2 hits, 1 error. And Van Slyke leaves just in the nick of time. By the call, 3rd strike from home plate umpire Jordan Baker. Gene Segura leading it off, and he whacks a base hit into right field. Segura, a leadoff single to right. After the 3rd strike, Van Slyke with a bat flip. Well, Jordan Baker didn't like it much.
Yeah, you'll see that. Didn't like the call, so what's his reaction as he flips the bat? And watch the home plate umpire. See how as he points to the bat right there? What he's letting him know, that's a fine. He's basically saying you're tossing the equipment. He didn't toss Van Slyke out, and I'll tell you, Van Slyke talked to him. He probably talked to him in a manner and probably didn't say you. He was questioning the call, and Jordan Baker let him get his frustration out before tossing him. He was on the verge of tossing him, but at least he was just pointing, letting everybody know, okay, there's some equipment toss there, you're going to be fined. And I think right about now that fine might be $1,000 for throwing your equipment.
It was only 100 in my day.
Well.
Inflation.
Yep.
It's got to hurt a little bit.
Maldonado, who singled to right in his first at bat. 1 ball, no strikes.
We've seen a couple of guys. We saw Andre argue. We've seen Van Slyke upset with a couple of calls, and good. And they've been on the verge close to getting tossed, and we know that they don't have a really deep bench, so the Dodgers can't afford to get guys tossed right now.
With the extra reliever in the bullpen, you've got Uribe Guerrero, Grandal, and Kike Hernandez, and that is it. Chris Heisey will rejoin the team tomorrow, presumably when Joe Wheeland is sent back to Oklahoma City. Popped up, and Wheeland calls off Ellis.
Good job by Wheeland. A lot of times everybody's like, don't let the pitcher catch the ball, but sometimes when it's like that, you're going, hey, you got a glove, go there, and because that's going to be a tough play on Ellis to get behind that ball and try to catch that. Adrian to charge. Takes charge out there and makes the catch.
Well, now it's incumbent upon Whelan to keep the Brewers at bay. Gave up the 5 runs and 4 hits to Milwaukee in the first. The Dodgers come back with a run in the top of the 4th. They're still in it, so there's very little wiggle room for Whelan. First inning he threw 38, but since then he has settled down. Peralta.
Oh, especially after your team gets one back on the board. It's big to see if he can have that quick inning again. He had quick innings the last 2 innings. But if he can get another one in here and get the offense back up there, it'd be huge.
He retired 7 batters in a row until the Segura leadoff single here in the 4th.
If he can give up 5 runs and go 6 innings, it's a strange good job, but it is a good job after giving up 5 in the first.
Peralta with 1 sacrifice this year. Turner in on the grass at third. Segura has great speed. And Peralta gets out of the way. It's 1-1. First pitch tomorrow morning Pacific time is at 10:40. Carlos Frias and Mike Fiers. Hot and cold.
Well played, Charlie. Well played.
Well,
it is. No, you're right.
Then on Friday we'll be in Colorado, bundled up. First pitch at 5:40 Los Angeles time. Brett Anderson and Eddie Butler. Now the runner goes, and A.J. Ellis has just gunned down Gene Segura.
That's a really nice play by A.J. The block to get his shoulders hunched forward so it dies right in front of him like a little soft egg, and then to pick it up and get his feet squared away quick enough to throw that ball accurately right there, make it simple for Jimmy Rollins to tag.
And now 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, high and away, 3-2.
There's an opportunity. We talked about having that quick inning right now, and he's able to have a 1-2-3 inning if he can get Peralta out here.
Peralta fouls it off.
I mean, what a play by A.J. Ellis. I mean, I mean, Segura, what he was doing, he was reading, watching the trajectory of the ball, the pitch coming in, and he took off right when he saw that it was going to hit the ground. I mean, he did not hesitate. And A.J. jumped on that ball and threw a strike to second base.
3-2. And he walks Peralta. In all likelihood, this is going to be Whelan's last inning because he is due to bat second in the 5th. Perhaps an X factor might be if Ellis gets aboard, then come up to sacrifice. But again, now with just 4 bench players, when do you go to the bench?
Well, you want to save your hitters for when it really counts, and if nobody on, down by 4 in the top of the 5th might not be a time when you want to do it.
Those are 3 of them. In fact, Kike Hernandez, the 4th, 0-1 with 2 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Again, the Dodgers are going to make a roster move again tomorrow. The expectation is Whelan will be sent back out, and Chris Heisey, who has rejoined the club, will be activated. swung on and missed. Scooter Gennett is on deck. A ball, a strike, and 2 out.
Well, the momentum of the run, getting the 1 run, and then also this inning end up with 2 out, nobody on, but you walk the pitcher. Now you're really falling behind Gomez here 2-1. Watch yourself. You're not in the dugout yet.
Gomez is single to right and bounced to third. And now it's 2-2.
After that big swing by Gomez, you really need a quality pitch here on 2-2. Because I don't see Gomez taking a 2-strike approach right here.
No, I like a neck high fastball right here. I think he's in swing mode. He's seeing the ball really well. He feels confident up there. I don't want to throw him a strike, and I don't like a lazy curveball.
Fastball, fly ball, right field, and Ethier is there. So that ends the inning. No runs, 1 hit. We'll go to the top half of the 5th. Brewers 5 and the Dodgers 1. Come out on May the 15th and take your place on the field to see the fireworks featuring songs from 1965. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions. Through 4, 5 runs and 5 hits for the Brewers. 4 of their 5 hits, all 5 of their runs coming in the first. The Dodgers 1 run, 5 hits, and helped by a Brewer error. Peralta to this point has thrown 56 pitches, 40 for strikes. He has struck out 4 and walked nobody. Ellis leading it off. And Wheeland, in fact, to this point, is in the on-deck circle. And the Dodger bullpen for the moment. While stirring around, nobody's throwing. One ball, no strikes to A.J. Ellis. An infield hit for Ellis in his first at-bat. Segura made a great play, but A.J. was able to beat it by a half a step. A.J. at 167. Still looking for his first RBI of the season. Well, with Wheeland on deck, the Dodgers were averaging more than 5 runs per game this year. Mattingly and Wallach figuring, all right, there's still time. Ramirez, 1 out.
I think it's a decision more to protect the bullpen and the usage down there. And with the possibility of Joe Whelan going out and adding a bench player tomorrow, you're not going to be adding an arm, so you're especially thinking about the bullpen use.
Dodgers have 8 in the bullpen, including J.P. Howell. And again, the uncertainty of the weather this weekend in Denver. And we turn around and finish up the 4-game series first thing tomorrow. And the other consideration long term is that between now and the 2nd of July, the Dodgers have 3 days off. That's it. Monday, May the 18th, an off day. May the 28th, an off day. And then on the 11th of June, an off day. So they're just not managing this game in this inning.
No, not at all. It seems like the schedule makers went right to the extremes of the basic agreement about how many games you can play in a row before you need an off day.
Wheeling down on strikes.
How often do you see, Oro? I don't recall, like when you have just 1 day off an entire month. I mean, I can see that when you in September, because you're maybe rainouts and you're making it up, and that ends up happening. They take away the off days there, but
I'm going strictly by memory.
1 day.
Yeah, I'm going strictly by memory. I think it's 21 days max, and then they have to have a team vote.
Right.
Usually, only have that vote when you have to take the off day because of a, makeup game of some sort that has to fit into the schedule.
And the Dodgers had 4 days off in April. So they had more days off in April than they will have in May and June combined.
And usually with a West Coast team, you pick up those off days because you need them as travel days to get to the East Coast.
Joc Pederson 0 for 2 takes up an in. It's 1-1. Joc at 253 has struck out and fouled out. And a fly ball to center field. Gomez going back. Way back. He's at the wall, and it is gone. A home run. Joc Pederson continues his amazing tear. 6 of his last 7 hits have gone for home runs. He now has 8 on the year and 2nd in the National League.
Joc Pederson's able to stay back on this breaking ball, and he just drives it to center field, gets a little bit underneath it because this ball was towering, was high up there, and it looked like Gomez might have had a beat on it, but with the backspin, it just carried right on out of here.
Rollins bounces to first to end the inning, but not before Joc Pederson cracks his 8th home run of the season. Now has 17 runs batted in with this swat. Dodgers right back in this thing now. It's 5-2 at the halfway mark. The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Bob Uecker, now in his 45th year as the voice of the Brewers. You know the Mendoza line? Forget the Mendoza line. Bob Uecker's lifetime batting average was 200. And he turned it into a heck of a career. And, of course, the famous Uecker seats. And when you come to Milwaukee, he is absolutely a city treasure. And truly one of the funniest men that ever walked this earth. He is a walking one-liner. 45 years he's been in the booth. Mr. Baseball. Scooter Gennett. 2 balls and a strike.
The best way to catch a knuckleball?
Pick it up when it stops rolling.
Let it run, roll to the backstop, and pick it up when it stops rolling.
Look at Adrian Gonzalez, the 4-time Gold Glove winner, robbing Gennett of a hit. That's worthy of a Carl's Cam review.
Line drive, getting up. I think Uribe's going to make fun of him when he gets in about telling him how high he got off the ground on that one.
Yeah, you could slide a piece of paper under his spikes in between that and the dirt.
Doesn't matter, it's an out.
And it came up like a snow cone because it got him in the palm. He didn't need the whole glove. He jumped too high.
It was high enough.
Yep.
Braun has walked and bounced out. Ryan Braun at 220. Which is almost 90 points below his career average. Braun with 5 home runs and 13 runs batted in. He still has a lot of years on his deal here. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Meanwhile, Wheeland, after the horrible first inning, has settled down. The Dodgers talking about it, taking small bites. A run in the 4th, run in the 5th. They're still very much in this thing. And it's 2-2.
Joe Wheeland probably had a little bit of the case of the nerves because everything was up and in the middle of the plate in that first inning. Release point has gotten out a little bit more out in front of him, and he's getting down the hill a little better. And they're mixing in that changeup right there.
Turner throws out Braun. There's 2 out. Well, Bob Uecker, they retired number 50 because he's been here for so long, but there are other big important numbers retired in Milwaukee, Alana.
Well, there's a new one actually, Charlie, because they just retired Bud Selig as the #1 up there, joining everybody else that's on there. Paul Molitor, Robin Yount, Raleigh Fingers, and of course Hank Aaron, 4 Hall of Famers. But the Brewers wanted to honor their former team owner and Milwaukee native and of course outgoing Commissioner Bud Selig by retiring uniform #1 here at Miller Park.
But of course, the baseball universe was centered around Milwaukee during his tenure. Still lives here, still eats in the same sandwich shop pretty near every day. Alan H. Bud Selig.
Did he start out as a car dealer here in town?
Yep. And brought the Pilots to Milwaukee.
They could have retired a C for commissioner instead of a 1.
They could have. Into the left field corner. It is a fair ball, and Adam Lind, who's already homered tonight, has a stand-up double with 2 out.
I just think 1 is a cool number to have on a team.
Well, yeah, I'm just wondering, why would you, retiring a C, what does that mean? That you just, no one can use a C anymore in the stadium? That's
just
all.
To honor the ex-commissioner.
All right. So we see Adam Lind keeping this ball just fair down the left field line for a double.
These are hard left-handed hitters that get out for a righty that likes to pitch away because they do such a good job just staying inside the ball, and if they're a little late they just foul it off and wear you out, and if they get on time they hit it down the line. You just can't play anybody in those corners.
Now Jay Ellis is going to go out and talk with Wheeland. Dodger bullpen is working. And Sergio Santos is the first one up.
Well, there's a couple things going on here from AJ. It's like, look, we're going to pitch this guy tough. We got first base open. The bullpen's up. So we're crawling back into this game. Let's not let this get out of control. Even if we have to walk him and you get pulled, that's the best thing. Well, they're getting Santos ready, and they might even try and get him ready for this hitter, but yeah, they're going to put him on and give Santos some time. I think Joe Wheelan's last batter will be this intentional walk.
Oh, I mentioned earlier, Aramis Ramirez, 4th all-time in home runs hit by a third baseman. Mike Schmidt, Chipper Jones, Adrian Beltre, and then Ramirez.
If Santos needed more time, Rick Honeycutt could actually visit before this last pitch.
So they're going to stay with Wheeland, apparently.
Santos was really rushing down there, and he's still going at it, and he's about to get the hat that he's ready.
Chuck Krim, bullpen coach. Now the slow walk from Don Mattingly. They bought as much time as they could. And so Santos will be coming in to face Chris Davis with Lind at second, Ramirez at first, 2 out in the bottom of the 5th. Brewers 5 and the Dodgers 2.
He's gone, but Don is just having a conversation before he makes the move.
That falls under the pace of mound discussion as we go to break. Sunday against the Diamondbacks, 2/3 of an inning, 2 strikeouts, a walk and a hit, and somebody that Nomar knows well.
Yeah, actually Sergio Santos, when he was younger, actually played with my younger brother. They played on the same travel team, and my dad was one of the coaches on that travel team, so know the family quite well. So throughout his career, when he gets to the big leagues, the family was always just cheering for Sergio and for his success.
And he is home and about ready to make his 5th appearance. With 2 on and 2 out in the bottom of the 5th. Milwaukee scored 5 in the first, and it looked like Joe Whelan couldn't get out of his own way. But then he settled down. He's kept the Dodgers in the game after the serious damage that was done in the first, but the Dodgers have chipped away with a run in the 4th, a run in the top of the 5th. Get out of this thing here in the 5th inning with Chris Davis, who has walked and struck out. Dodgers have more than just a pulse. Outside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. Davis at 207 with 1 home run and 5 runs batted in. Takes outside 2-0. Davis played at Cal State Fullerton. His dad Rodney played professionally. He was an outfielder and was in the Dodgers minor league system for a time. 2-0 with 2 out and 2 on. 3-0.
We're talking about coaches. Chris Davis's dad, Rodney, was one of my coaches when I was 13 years old. 14 years old. I played in the Mickey Mantle World Series, and Rodney Davis was one of those coaches.
And your dad was one of the coaches of Sergio Santos.
Yeah. Small world.
And now it's 3-0. A 4-pitch walk loads the bases.
The momentum that the Dodgers have gathered from the 2 runs in the 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th is hanging in the balance right now.
Yeah, this is a key moment in the game.
This is really big. Makes Milwaukee think that we've been losing most of the year. Are they going to come back? And gives the Dodgers confidence that they've come back a lot this year already. They can do it again.
Segura 1 for 2 and a run scored. Bases are loaded. And Santos delivers a strike. After 2 out, nobody on, Lynn doubled. Ramirez intentionally walked. Davis walked unintentionally by Santos. 0-1. 0-2. 93.
Right there at the bottom of the knee.
That's a pitcher's pitch right there. You can do that again.
I'll throw a strike here.
On 0-2. Breaking ball. Andy Fletcher, first base umpire.
Boy, that was a really good pitch. Looked like that fastball away that just got called for a strike and just able to hold up.
Lind at third, Ramirez at second, Davis at first. The count is 1-2 to Gene Segura. Back-to-back slider. Segura lays off.
Well, here's where you want to throw the strike. You don't want to get the 3-2, 2 out with the runners moving. Now your defenders have more things to concentrate on. A single scores 2 for sure. This is an action pitch. If you're on the mound, this should feel like it's 3-2 without it being 3-2 with your pitch selection.
Brewers lead 5-2. Line to right, slicing foul. Segura came over from the Angels, and he's become quite a mainstay at shortstop for Milwaukee. Two and two with 2 out and the bases loaded. Three and two. Biggest pitch of the game to this point coming up. Check swing, run scores, 6-2 Milwaukee.
A slider that maybe you'd like to throw a little earlier in the count, back when you had 2 strikes, but in a 3-2 count, if you're going to the slider, you're trying to throw it right down the middle for a strike. Maybe it ends up on the outer half, but you need to throw something that get called for a strike.
A 2-out double, 3 walks in a row. A run is in, a ground ball. Oh, what a play by Turner! Will pick it up, and throw is offline. Gonzalez's foot off the bag. The Brewers score another and lead 7-2.
Right now they're checking to see if Gonzalez keeps his foot on the bag, but Turner does a good job making the play, and I think he just took it a little bit too easy after he makes that play. When he comes up, instead of continuing moving his feet, and we'll see if Gonzalez keeps that toe on there as he catches that ball.
I think he's out.
Well, Mattingly's going to request the replay.
I think the foot stays on the corner of that bag as the ball disappears in Adrian's leather, and Adrian thinks he's got it too.
Andy Fletcher, the first base umpire. Jerry Meals, the crew chief. And
he's still on, he's still on, he's still on. And now let it run. You see it finally come off.
I think he's out there.
Yeah, I think he's out.
We've seen a couple of times where we think he's out, and then they say, well, the play stands as if there wasn't enough evidence to overturn it. So
most of the replays have taken about a minute and a half to decide. Thumbs up or thumbs down will mean 1 run more or 1 run less.
His foot doesn't come off the bag until his right shoulder hits the ground. That's what brings him off the bag, when that shoulder goes down.
It must be tough for the 2 umpires who are listening to the folks in New York. They're watching the same thing on the big screen here as they are back in New York.
I wonder if they have hold music. I mean, what are they listening to? Just the guys that just dead air determining what's going on?
now it's in his glove. Looks like he still has that foot on the corner of that bag as it's
He's on it, he's on it, he's on it, and then as the glove hits the ground, the ball's already in the glove when the glove hits the ground, and when he hits the ground with the glove is when the foot finally comes off.
Yeah. There are times we just don't know where we've seen somewhere like,
yeah,
oh,
just like this.
Yeah,
just like this.
The evidence tells us, and then they're
out at first base. And that will end the inning. Dodgers give up 1. We go to the 6th, and the Brewers lead 6-2. The Dodgers play the San Diego Padres, and get your very own Adrian Gonzalez bobblehead with a touch of gold, presented by Time Warner Cable. For more information, go to Dodgers.com/promotions or call 866-DODGERS. It's a good thing Adrian Gonzalez wears about a 10.5 shoe.
Yeah, I'm glad the guys in New York got that one right. The inning started to spiral out of control. A couple 2-out runs from the Brewers from a double play we didn't turn, and then a 2-out bases loaded walk.
Yeah, that double play back in that first inning.
This game could be 4-2.
Yeah.
So Harry Kendrick's going to lead it off in the 6th, a 4-run game now. And Kendrick takes a strike. It's 0-1. A 2-out double, then 3 walks. And the Dodgers get back one of those runs that they earned in the 4th and the 5th. Kendrick is 0 for 2. Thought he had a base hit in his last at-bat. Ricocheted off the leg of Peralta, and that's line foul down the right field line. And then Segura came in and made a brilliant play to throw out Kendrick by a step. Gonzalez on deck and Turner to follow. Lynn bobbles. Peralta's there. 1 out. Here's Adrian Gonzalez, who's merely 2 for 2 tonight. Up to 374. Lifetime at Miller Park, he's hitting over 400, and his on-base percentage is near 500. And as you might imagine, nobody in 75 at-bats has ever done better than this guy here. One out in the 6th.
Here at 374 is amazing accomplishment with his wheels. He doesn't get a lot of infield hits. And the shifts the way they are now.
Into left field. Davis makes the play. 2 out. I was going to ask Nomar, is there a tangible reason why a given player can do so well in a given ballpark, like Gonzalez here?
Yeah, sometimes you just like the hitter's background. Sometimes you like the batter's box can feel better than others. Some of it has better dirt than others. I remember Yankee Stadium had a really good clay when you sat in the batter's box. They had that. And sometimes you just see the ball so well, whether it's the lighting at a stadium. So there are definitely different factors that come into play where a batter could feel more comfortable or just feel more confident stepping into the box at a certain ballpark.
Where couldn't you wait to go to?
I did really well in Cleveland. I liked Cleveland. I liked Baltimore as well. I think I just liked this. I liked Camden Yards, the surroundings of it. So that always made me feel really good. Did not like coming here. Could not see the ball well here from it.
Backhanded on one hop by Segura. 1-2-3. Gonzalez hit it hard, so did Turner, and the Dodgers have nothing to show for it in the top of the 6th. 6-2 Brewers. Next, backstage Dodgers go behind the scenes with new pitcher Carlos Frias as we follow his journey from the Dominican Republic to Los Angeles. Plus, our cameras capture a day in the life with Sergio Santos. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers Thursday at 7 o'clock, only on Time Warner Cable Sports. Willie Peralta with a 6-2 lead leads it off in the bottom of the 6th against Sergio Santos. Santos walked a couple of batters. In the 5th, the Brewers lead it 6-2. Paco Rodriguez now warming in the Dodger pen. That one is well hit to center. That's way back. Pederson is at the wall, and it's gone. But no, he caught it. He caught it. What a play by Joc Pederson. He misjudged it last night and gets a standing ovation now. What a play by the rookie.
Look at the Morongo slow-mo cam. Joc Pederson going to the deepest part of the field, ranging far. Stays with it, makes the catch, and then collides with the wall. Wow.
And he beat the wall. Morongo slow-mo cam. What a play.
You'll see outfielders as they creep into the walls like that go give that little crocodile arm because they want to have the flex in their elbow. So if they have the impact, it can fold up. Joc continued to move with the feet, folded the arm up and cradled the ball.
And last night he misjudges a play and is kicking at his shoes the rest of the night. And tonight, one of the great plays of the year. Gomez 1 for 3. The count is 0-2, and he's done.
Get you a little adrenaline on the mound when your center fielder picks you up like that instead of having a man on third. Probably, even though it's the pitcher running, that ball would have carried him towards right field with Joc running towards left center. So that probably is going to be a triple. Instead, you come back, get a little adrenaline from that out, and strike out the next hitter.
Well, for Joc Pederson, last night is happily in the rearview mirror. Tonight he has homered and made a spectacular catch. Scooter Gennett is 1 for 3, a home run, a 2-run shot in the first. Gennett takes high. Ryan Braun on deck. Dodgers will have Ethier, Van Slyke, and Ellis to bat when we get to the 7th. Last night's misjudgment by Pederson was so out of character. And tonight, robbing Peralta of extra bases. In the dirt, gets past Ellis, and Gennett will arrive at first base. Strikeout, wild pitch.
Breaking ball in the dirt that AJ's going to try and block. Turns the glove over, but it takes a nasty kick off the dirt there by home plate. One that's not expected. But hit something firm.
Now Ryan Braun 0 for 2, a walk and a run scored. Each team with 6 hits. Line into right field for a base hit. And going to third base is Gennett, who runs very well. First and third, 2 out.
The Dodgers are going to climb back into this one. They can't give up any more 2-out runs. And there's stolen base from Braun as a discussion was going on at the mound. Jimmy was walking the ball into Sergio Santos. Howie Kendrick was manicuring some of the dirt, and Braun heads up, notices that nobody is at second. Howie's back to the play. Jimmy's walking the ball in, and Sergio's walking back from backing up third base. Braun caught him sleeping. Donnie's making sure that time wasn't out, maybe.
That's Jordan Baker, the home plate umpire. With the left-handed hitting Adam Lind coming up. Marco Rodriguez will be coming out of the bullpen. And Sergio Santos will be coming out of the game. So the Dodgers caught asleep. Milwaukee's got second and third, 2 out. Lind is coming up. It is 6-2 Brewers. trying to get out of this nasty piece of business in the bottom half of the 6th, making his 12th appearance. And he's just been great all year. Lefties have never enjoyed facing Paco, and Adam Lind will be the guy who's going to do it. Jeanette is at third base. Braun, who picked the Dodgers pocket, is at second. And this all began with a strikeout wild pitch with 2 out. Not exactly the historic moment that Mickey Owen had in 1941 against the Yankees. 2 out in the 9th. The Yankees would come from behind and win that World Series game. And now here's Lind with 2 out. Blowing outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
In the last inning, when the Brewers got a run, also a 2-out double, an intentional walk, another walk, and another walk. We've really been building these innings for the Brewers.
2 out, 2nd and 3rd, bottom of the 6th. Checked his swing. 2 balls and no strikes to Adam Lind. A double and a home run tonight. Has 30 hits and 105 at bats. 326, 5 home runs and 15 runs batted in. Two balls and a strike.
Paco staying with the slider right there, even though there's a right-hander on deck. Paco pretty successful against both righties and lefties, devastating against lefties, staying with the ball. The slider that he's confident he could get in there, and did.
Lind is hitting .313 against left-handed pitching.
He's the one that knocked Clayton Kershaw out with a couple of 2-strike foul balls, built the count to 3-2. Clayton threw him a slider for a strike and hit a double, and that was Clayton's last batter.
Lefties are 2 for 12 against Paco, 167. As Lind steps out of the batter's box. Three and 1, 2 out. Ramirez on deck. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, beauty. 3-2.
Paco went through a cleanup of his delivery, less hesitation in it this year, and it really has helped the consistency of his breaking ball. He really feels confident in his mechanics now, and the ability to throw that breaking ball when he's behind in the count.
Now it's full. First base is vacant. Fly ball left field, and Slik is there, and Paco Rodriguez comes out unscathed. But what a play by Joc Pederson, robbing Willie Peralta of extra bases, crashing into the wall and making the catch. We go to the 7th. Dodge Challenger. With an EPA estimated 30 highway MPG, this car was made for driving in California. Visit Dodge.com today. We'll go to the 7th inning here in Milwaukee. And the Dodgers have work to do. It's 6-2 Milwaukee. Andre Ethier in his 1300th game with the Dodgers, 1 for 2 tonight. Van Slyke and Ellis to follow. Andre takes a strike, 0-1. Ethier took a called third strike in his first at-bat in the 2nd inning. And didn't quite agree with home plate umpire Jordan Baker, who's had some issues tonight with other hitters. 1-1.
Can that get into a team's head, Nomar? That in general, a few guys are complaining about the strike zone?
It definitely can. Definitely, when you get back to the dugout and you hear a guy constantly complaining about it, and you hear a couple more guys coming back complaining about it.
Ryan Braun tracks down the liner.
For Andre, he puts a good swing on this one. He squares it up. He just had some bad aim right here. He lines out right to Ryan Braun.
Last 3 batters for the Dodgers, Gonzalez and Turner in the 6th, and here Ethier in the 7th, have hit the ball hard against Peralta, but have nothing to show for their efforts. Juan Nicasio going to work in the Dodger bullpen now. And it's like go around, yes, says Andy Fletcher. Ellis on deck. One ball, 2 strikes. There is a ladder, as you just saw, in front of Euchre's seat.
The early reports are that the handle on the door to his booth has been broken somehow.
I got news for you. There is no way on earth he's climbing out of his office, his broadcast booth, his domain on a ladder.
But for a guy who's one of the funniest men on earth, it's pretty hilarious that he's got a ladder up to his booth in front of him.
He's got a bit working. He's talking to the ladder. What's more frightening is he may be listening to it.
He's just talking to it.
There's somebody else in the booth, so
Joe Block, we assume, one-time host of Dodger Talk, in fact. And a fly ball to right field. You remember the old movie Jacob's Ladder? We've got Euchre's Ladder at the 7th inning stretch. 76. Back with you tomorrow morning when Carlos Frias and Mike Fiers will have at it. And then it's on to Colorado where the weather's supposed to be bad. Either way, we'll see you at 5:30 on Friday. Brett Anderson and Eddie Butler. On Saturday, Clayton Kershaw and Jorge De La Rosa. Sunday getaway day, Zach Greinke and Kyle Kendrick. That's the immediate future for the Dodgers. Euchre has been locked into his own booth. So apparently the ladder, Euchre's ladder, was there to get a repairman up there to open the door. I hope he doesn't have to go to the job. Only you. Here's Juan Nicasio, who needs no ladder. Done a nice job for the Dodgers in his first 9 appearances, an ERA of 1 1/3, and opposing hitters hitting 170 against him. First hitter is Ramirez. There's nothing in 1.
I'm reminded of that childhood rhyme. How dry I am, how wet I'll be if I don't find the press box key. I don't know if it went that way, but it was close.
That would be a neighborhood play.
Exactly.
Ramirez and Davis and Segura to bat for the Brewers in the bottom of the 7th.
We had the pleasure of walking out with Euch last night and taking the elevator ride down with him last night. He can light up a room. He can light up the elevator.
He is one of the most naturally funny people that's ever been placed on the planet.
How about him in the lunchroom today? Making comments about the tips for the girl, the chef. Oh, big night. Look at all the Benjamins. And he wasn't even going to eat. He just came in to make a comment, say hi to her.
Says hello and goes about his business. And he was the most frequent guest on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Leadoff walk for Ramirez here in the 7th. He always knew Euchre did. He always knew he was kind of funny. And so when he used to come into New York playing in Milwaukee with the Braves, later with the Cardinals, he would go to those comedy clubs and work on stuff. So Ramirez is out. Hector Gomez is pinch running for Ramirez with a 6-2 Milwaukee lead. And Craig Counsell watching him work strategically. Takes Ramirez out. Gomez takes over. Gomez has great speed. Gets past Ellis, and Gomez will go to second. And thought for a moment about going to third. This has not been the most cleanly played game of the year for the Dodgers.
Well, they have spoiled us with how tightly they've played the games defensively, throwing strikes. The bullpen has been flawless to this point in the season pretty much, and they're kind of boxing their way through this one.
Mattingly's club got off on the wrong foot tonight when the Brewers scored 5 in the first inning against Joe Whelan. Four batters into the game, Whelan and the Dodgers are down 4-0. Brewers attack on another run in the first. Dodgers came back with solo runs in the 4th and the 5th. Milwaukee scored a run in the bottom of the 5th, and looking for some insurance here as Nicasio misses outside. Scoreboard says the Dodgers have made no errors, but there's been some loose play out there. And a strike. 2-1.
You're right, Charlie. We go back to that first inning when there was a double play ball that wasn't turned, and that ended up costing a run for the Dodgers. We've seen one overturned. There was a tough play. It wasn't the cleanest play over there, even though it started off as a great play by Justin Turner. Some wild pitches, a lot of base on balls.
Ryan Braun picked the Dodgers' pocket. Nobody was covering second base after he had singled to right, and he just kind of talk about stealing second base. Now the wild pitch. So this is one of those games where it's not been crisp. 2-2 to Davis with Gene Segura on deck. And the 2-2 is on the way. 3-2. Nobody out of the bottom of the 7th. Golf to right and slicing foul and out of play.
Davis even in the 3-2 count trying to shoot that ball to right field to move the runner over.
Hector Gomez pinch running. On Monday night, he hit his first career home run, his first career triple, after 9 years and 2,724 minor league plate appearances, and he did it off Clayton Kershaw. Pinch running now for Ramirez. Swung on and missed strike 3. Davis down on strikes.
A huge strikeout, not allowing the runner to move up, saving those 90 feet, coming with a fastball running inside. AJ setting up away, but that ball tailed back into the middle half and just beat him.
That's the first out. Gonzalez and Nicasio. All right, Nomar. How much does covering one's face with one's glove, what does that do or not do? Or?
Well, I mean, a lot of the thought is here you are with cameras on it, and you get it in there. We're getting that up close that possibly read the lips as you're telling them something or strategy. So that's why oftentimes you see pitchers cover their glove talking to the catcher.
Gene Segura is the batter.
And who knows if Adrian's in there telling him, you know, where he's going to play, how he should pitch this guy because of where he's going to be playing, or he sees something. So he doesn't want to. If they're watching over there, or somebody's in the clubhouse watching the game, and they see the, you know, they're watching it, can run out and say, hey, they said they're going to pitch you away, or they're going to throw you breaking balls if somebody's able to read the lips.
No balls and a strike. And how quickly then does that information get to a hitter?
It can be really quick because even some of these ballparks now, the video room is right next to the dugout.
Yep.
And so you can have somebody right there, you know, as he's going out, coming out, and sometimes they're just yelling. Sometimes it could be a sign, hey, here we go, or key that you've talked about before, which lets you know that they might be going away from you or trying to pound you in.
Here's the 1-1. Under the knees, 2 balls and a strike to Gene Segura, who is 1 for 2, a walk and a run scored. It's also stolen a base tonight.
You'll have third base coaches or first base coaches depending on the opposite side of the hitter. So first base coach for a right-handed hitter, when they cheer, they'll use your first name if the catcher's sitting in, and they'll use your last name if the catcher's sitting away. Nice to pay attention to all kinds of stuff standing on the mound that was going on verbally around me. If I started here and, you know, come on Barry and come on Bonds from the third base coach when Barry Bonds is up, I'd like, okay, they're giving location and checking where my catcher is. So And then the other thing they'll do is they'll stand up, and then if they go down to a crouch in their knees, the hitter then sees the movement of the coach in his eyes, and he knows the catcher has moved.
On 2-2.
Hitters are always trying to cheat.
And pitchers never scuff balls, do they?
No, they don't.
2 out. Segura's down on strikes. By the way, today is the 84th birthday of maybe the greatest player of our life, Willie Mays.
Oh wow! Happy birthday, Willie Mays. On MLB.com, they're doing a vote for the greatest living player, and I think Henry Aaron is leading the voting right now. Willie Mays is second, and Sandy Koufax is in third. So Dodger fans, get out there and vote for Sandy.
Well, it's hard to go wrong with Mays and Aaron. Now Maldonado is the hitter. There's a strike, and it's 0-1.
It's on the heels of a vote that they're taking for every franchise, for the franchise four, and I think the leaders of the franchise four for the Dodgers right now is Jackie Robinson, Roy Campanella, Sandy Koufax, and Don Drysdale.
Maldonado is 1 for 3, 2 out, 7th inning. There wasn't anything that Willie Mays couldn't do. And he hit all those home runs, most of them playing at Candlestick Park.
Yeah, the balls that he said he probably would have, how many home runs he really would have had if he wasn't playing there with that wind.
And Hank Aaron, all he did was hit about 40 home runs every year. Began his career, did Aaron, here in Milwaukee, and ended his career here in Milwaukee. First with the Braves, and then with the Brewers. Hammer and Hank. His number retired right next to Jackie's. Still a great, elegant, dignified gentleman, Hank Aaron. On 1 and 2, inside. Aaron came up as a second baseman originally.
Wow, that's hard to believe, though, as big a man as he is.
At the end of his career. 3 wall bangers, but he did a pretty good job on his own, coming back from whence he came. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. As Maldonado steps out. Dodgers will have a pinch hitter, then the top of the order in the 8th. Nicasio on 2 and 2. Missing inside 3 and 2. Jason Rogers in the on deck circle. He will bat for Peralta if Maldonado gets on. But Nicasio takes care of business and strikes out the side. Walks 1, fans 3, and will go to the 8th. Milwaukee 6-2. Over at third base. He pinch ran for Ramos Ramirez in the bottom of the 7th. Juan Uribe will pinch hit and lead off here in the 8th inning. The Brewers, in the meantime, have double barrel action in their bullpen. Lefty Will Smith and former Dodger Jonathan Broxton warming up out there. Big John doesn't look as big as he used to.
It's like he thinned out a little bit, or maybe he's gotten taller.
A late growth spurt.
So here's Uribe. Pinch hitting here in the 8th inning. Then Pederson and Rollins. And Peralta, to this point, has thrown 88 pitches, 61 for strikes. Uribe takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Likely Uribe's only at bat of the night. He's got a 13-game hitting streak on the line. Did you guys ever worry about that sort of stuff?
No. It's a little bit when it gets
really bad.
Right.
And the manager even worries about it when it gets really long. If you're giving the guy the day off, he'd be the last guy he would use.
In fact, on this day in 2011, Andre Ethier picked up 3 hits and extended his hitting streak to 30 games. That was the 2nd longest run in franchise history. The next day, he'd go 0 for 4. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Uribe. Jolton Joe DiMaggio, 56 in 1941. Peralta throws out Uribe, first out of the 7th. Peralta venturing into uncharted waters so far this season, as there's now 1 out in the 8th. This is the furthest he's gone in the start.
He got spotted those 5 runs in the 1st, and that can help you go deep into a game because he's been attacking. He's probably kept his pitch count under control for him. He hasn't really had to make the Dodgers chase. His fastball's been dominant enough and lively enough in the strike zone.
Pederson with a home run to center in his last at bat. Now has 8 home runs, 17 runs batted in, hitting .263. And 6 of his last 7 hits have been home runs. And there's another fly ball to center field. Gomez back at the wall, and it is gone. A home run. Joc Pederson with his 2nd home run of the night. And now 7 of his last 8 hits have left the yard.
I think the leadoff spot is a green for Joc Pederson right now.
Boy, he's hitting about 11th. Wow.
And we talked about fastballs, and he just challenged him with a fastball, and he got on top of that one. His last home run was on an off-speed pitch, and this one with a fastball. The adjustment he made, and once again to center field, and carries on out for him.
Rollins flies to left. 2nd out of the 8th. So Joc Pederson, his first multi-home run game. When he hits him long and He doesn't worry about singles, doubles, or triples.
I'm chuckling because the first day we were here, right before batting practice, Joc asked me, he goes, how's the ball carry here, Nomar? How is it? I go, I think you'll like it. Boy, as he enjoyed it.
Now Pederson, with 9 home runs, has joined Adrian Gonzalez and Todd Frazier for the National League lead.
He's working on Rookie of the Month for May.
Edged out by Alex Guerrero in April. Kendrick down on strikes, and that will end the inning. 1 run, 1 hit on Pederson's 2nd home run of the night, and his 9th of the year. He got it all. Dodgers to within 3, but they only got 3 outs left to play with. Streaming sports service celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Every night on every device. Visit MLB.tv for details. J.P. Howell on in relief. Another reliever who's done such a great job for the Dodgers this young season. His 12th appearance. And he'll be facing Elian Herrera, who on 1 pitch pops to Jimmy Rollins. Joc Pederson, quite a night. Spectacular catch and 2 home runs. Pederson, and now Adrian Gonzalez and Todd Frazier tied for the National League lead with 9. Carlos Gomez with 1 out and nobody on. High and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. The Dodger bullpen, second best in the National League, an ERA of 198 collectively. Ground ball to third, and that's Turner. 2 out. The only bullpen that has been statistically better than the Dodgers has been the Cardinals. Their group ERA is like 144.
And they've been unconscious. Bullpens can get on those kind of rolls where it's just down there and you're feeding off each other and nobody wants to drop the ball, and we've got some big time power arms in our bullpen. JP really the soft tosser coming out of our pen.
The opposition hitting 192 against the Dodger bullpen so far this season. High and inside. 1 ball and no strikes to Scooter Gennett. In 82 innings, 94 strikeouts by the Dodger relievers. And it was Howell who was saying the other day, one of the reasons to the success is that nobody has assigned innings. So everybody comes to work having to be prepared for any situation.
It's very much a blue-collar bullpen. It's not a lot of egos or roles where all of a sudden this is my time to get up. Why is he getting my inning, or what's going on here? Everybody knows they could be called almost at any time. JP just missing right there with the little breaking ball.
On 1-2. It's now 2-2.
Last year we had a lot of resumes, and it looked like on paper it was going to be a very good bullpen. A lot of saves from a lot of different individuals. Brandon Lee, Brian Wilson, Chris Perez, of course Kenley Jansen. But the pieces didn't live up to the resumes.
Wilson and Perez are out of the game at the moment.
When you talk to general managers around baseball, one of the Achilles heels of a general manager is putting together a bullpen, because a lot of times bullpen pieces that you go and are attracted to have pitched a lot of innings the year before, and sometimes they end up with a flat tire or not quite as hot the next year.
Two and two with 2 out in the dirt. That'll finish off Gennett as Ellis throws to Gonzalez to complete the inning. Last licks for the Dodgers. Adrian Gonzalez will lead it off. He's 2 for 3. Then Turner and Ethier. In search of his 6th save in his 11th appearance. 12 strikeouts and 2 walks. Looking like the K-Rod of old, although his repertoire is a little bit different.
It is definitely different. The fastball he's backed off of because the velocity has gone down, and that's been about the last 3 or 4 years. And he was predominantly the fastball breaking ball pitcher, and now he's more of a fastball changeup pitcher with an occasional breaking ball. And when you lose the arm speed on your fastball, you lose the sharpness on your breaking ball, and so to make his fastball seem harder, throws more changeups.
And the one thing about his changeup is that it looks just like his fastball coming out of his hand, the arm slot, everything about it, and then it just goes like it's going to be a strike and the bottom falls out of it.
The trajectory is so important when it leaves your hand that they all look alike.
The shift is on for Adrian Gonzalez, who is 2 for 3 tonight at 370.
That was one of the tips I would give Joe Whelan as he goes back down to the minors, probably, is that the trajectory on his fastball and his breaking ball do not match right now. It's curveball, it kind of pops up on him, and that would be described in some circles as kind of a high school curveball.
Yeah, we were talking about, you and I, Oral, was just that when those, especially in that first inning, his curveball, it went up out of his hand. And it was going over his fingers, and a hitter, big league hitter, recognizes that moment it comes out of his hand, and they recognize that breaking ball. And those guys took advantage of that today.
1-1 to Gonzalez.
It got better as the game went on because it looked like he relaxed, got a little looser hand with it, and got out front. So the release point dropped a little bit. The trajectory of the ball dropped a little bit, and it started to match his fastball a little bit more.
Dodgers need 3. 9th inning, 1-2 to Gonzalez. Turner and Ethier are next. Gonzalez 2 for 8 in his career against K-Rod. Now it's 2-2.
I've done some of the adult fantasy camps and different clinics, and they'll go, "You guys really see that when a fastball does one trajectory and a breaking ball does the other?" I go, "Yeah, a big league hitter does." That's really a level of sight and recognition that these guys have.
Now the 2-2. Lined into right field for a base hit. Oh, is he hot? Adrian Gonzalez on his way to second base with his 11th double of the year, and he's 3 for 4.
Adrian's one of those guys that can recognize it all, and you've got to do everything you can as a pitcher to disguise what you're throwing to him.
And the one thing Adrian is being able to do right now is, we talked about how calm and quiet he is. He's actually recognizing the ball, not only just right when he releases it, but he's also trusts himself that he knows he's not going to be late, that he can wait on the ball and almost see whether it's going to be breaking or not.
Did you see how much balance he had on that swing?
Yes.
Was able to keep the bat through, even though he was fooled. He kept it on the plane of the ball.
And that all comes into play to be able to wait on the ball. I mean,
it's like the side and the balance.
So
he's committed, and he's still balanced, so he has that extra extension to stay on that ball.
Because that was an off speed, and it's breaking away, so he can make the adjustment as he's swinging to hit the ball.
13 plate appearances. He's been on base 10 times in the series so far, Gonzalez.
This is a huge bat right here for Justin. I'll tell you what, you can try and bring the tying run to the plate is what you're trying to do as the Dodgers.
With Ethier on deck and Van Slyke to follow.
That's the marching cry when they hit the dugout after the last inning from defense, and they all started taking their gloves and putting them down in their place and getting ready to rattle the bat rack. Everybody starts saying, "Let's try and get the tying run to the plate. Let's try and get the tying run to the plate."
If Turner gets on, that's exactly what's going to happen. Turner 0 for 4 in his career against Francisco Rodriguez. 1-2.
If somebody strikes out this inning on a borderline call, somebody might get ejected. There's been too many.
Yeah, and that one shows on the strike zone that it hit more of the plate, but there's been some ones that they question that have been questionable off the plate. And right now he's mad at himself because he's thinking about that pitch before, which put him in the hole.
He wanted to turn around.
Yeah, he did.
Dodgers down to their final 2 outs.
Just don't turn left right there, Justin. You turn left and talk to him, you might be the one getting the thumb.
Keep on walking, don't look back. Ethier is 1 for 3. Fouls it back. It's 0-1. Andre Ethier playing his 1300th game with the Dodgers. And on this night 4 years ago, he got a base hit in New York and extended a hitting streak to 30 games, which would come to an end 4 years ago tomorrow night. 0-2. Ethier's in the top 10 in Los Angeles Dodger history in runs, hits, doubles, home runs, and RBIs. At 294, 4 home runs and 9 runs batted in. And that one is well hit to left. But Davis is there. Dodgers now down to their final out. Now Van Slyke. He has to get aboard to give Ellis a chance to potentially tie the game. Francisco Rodriguez, 1 out away from his 6th save. And Van Slyke takes outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Last year, the Brewers took 5 out of 6 from the Dodgers. This is game 3 of the 4-game series. Well hit, but foul. And it's 1-1.
A little different game without those two-out RBIs, you know, they gave away with the walks and the not turning the double play. I mean, Adrian would be on second with no out this inning. They'd be moving him over to try and get the tying run to third.
1-2. Yasmani Grandal's come out of the dugout. And if Van Slyke keeps the game alive, Grandal will pinch hit for Ellis. Dodgers down to their final strike. And the Brewers have beaten the Dodgers 6-3. 6 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. They left 8. And the Dodgers, 3 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. Peralta wins it. Whelan loses it. Now it's time for a look at the Lexus plays of the game. And it all happened rather quickly for the Dodgers tonight. Gomez, a leadoff hit. Scooter Gennett's first home run of the year. And then after Ryan Braun walked, Adam Lind hit his 5th home run of the season. And so for Whelan and the Dodgers, an early knockdown that turned into an early knockout. That is a wrap for us from Milwaukee. For Alana Rizzo, Oral Hershiser, Omar Garcia-Pollard, Charlie Summers say good night and goodbye. We'll see you again tomorrow morning. Now we're going to send it back to Access Sportsnet Dodgers, brought to you by Nissan. We'll see you tomorrow.